What's up, guys? Studfit here, joined by Antilev for another episode of The Rundown. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed a wonderful 2021, and we embark on a beautiful 2022 ahead of us. And later today, you'll see we have an award ceremony. We're excited to have Antilev joined by Carlos and Sammy D. Really just as a way for the community to celebrate. Just happens to be on my channel, and the surveys from you guys. Thank you so much for participating in those. But we have a lot to cover today, Antilev. But thank you for joining us. Always excited to have you, man.
Yep, my pleasure.
So, a lot going on this tour. There's new stuff, including Coinbox drivers. There's gold pipes. There's freebies. There's collector's items. There's a lot going on. We're gonna touch on all of that. But before we do, I have to give a huge thanks to all of our members, all three tiers. These members make this channel happen. They are the reasons why we have gone all out with Drivers of the Week, with award ceremony, with Strat of the Week. We really the community, especially with Kart Talk as an example, really highlighting these members. But we're just so excited to have each one of these people be a part of our community. We will be starting a contest in January, similar to the one we had in November, for multiplayer. So excited to be able to get everyone involved. And so take a look at that, see if it makes sense for you in the way that you enjoy this game. We always love having new members involved in the community. In our Discord server, our members-only Discord server as well. All right, so we'll get into the elephant in the room, or the cat in the room, Meowser. Obviously, being Coinbox, Sammy D had a nice nice summary video of everyone's reaction. I took a reaction video, just an audio version, because I wasn't expecting it to be that crazy. But it was epic. I mean, we weren't. I think we were expecting a Coinboxer, but I think when we saw that it was going to be Meowser, we realized that maybe Coinbox is maybe a tour away. It was a rude awakening or a welcomed awakening, depending on whether you like Coinbox or not. But we'll kind of get into him and his coverage and everything that happens from the meta level and how that's changed. Every time we have a Coinbox entering the game, we kind of go through different phases of grief. You know, we go through I can't, not another Coinbox. So we know that our ticket's going to be absorbed. We know that all of our resources are now going to be allocated, our rubies, our tickets, etc. And that's the nature of this game. Coinbox is king, and I think we also have a lot of people that are, let's say, Coinbox counter fans is kind of the term I've associated to them, which they just don't like as much Coinbox as in the game, which I understand. I like other skills too, but Coinbox is the best skill, and I honestly don't even think it's close. But if they don't like Coinbox, this is a tough game to be a part of, man. It's like being a vegan and working out at Outback Steakhouse. Like, you're probably not going to get as much fun out of this game as compared to those who love Coinbox. But it is what it is. In this pipe, though, in addition to a Coinbox driver, we have a lot of good stuff. We have Cat Peach, who's been around for a while, but still has pretty decent coverage. We have a new cart, which looks awesome. A variation of the Bruiser, the Tiger Bruiser. Then you have the Cat Cruiser, which I think many of us got as a gift earlier in the year, but it's still got pretty good coverage there. Small hitbox, but it is what it is. And then two gliders that happen to have pretty good coverage too. So overall, like, these items for me, none of them were at level 7. So I went to this pipe and I got Meowser twice. Very, very happy to go into this pipe, knowing that 9% odds. Nothing I have is at level 7. In a way, it's kind of like a glorified 50 pipe. Now, I also saw some people who used to have good luck not get so much good luck on this pipe, like Sammy D. But I think overall, a lot of people we heard in the members-only server describe a really good situation where they either got him on the first 10 pull or the second 10 pull. Angelita, I think while giving you coins today, I noticed you have him at level 2 and the Tiger Bruiser. Did you go into this pipe, I assume?
Yes, I did. On both accounts, actually. So on my main account, it's a new Coinbox driver. Yeah, especially because he's a heavy. If you want to be competitive, like talking about ACR and stuff, I think you need to go for it. He's new. He will be meta for the coming months. If you don't get him, you will be at a disadvantage. So I pulled from him on both accounts. My free-to-play account, I came into this tour with 407 rubies. Add the rubies you get from just gifts and challenges and everything, and add enough to clear a pipe. Unfortunately, it took me 710 bulls to get on my free-to-play account, so I'm. But I mean, that's what you save for, It's unfortunate, but I mean, that is the reason you save. I see too many people who are going in with like 150 rubies and being like, "Oh, I didn't get him." It's like, okay, well, I mean, it's hard to feel sorry, So now what I'll do, I'll stop pulling again until I build up over 450 rubies, till the next driver with a good skill comes along. And if I can save more than that, then yeah, maybe do some YOLO pulls, special pipe pulls, whatever. But it's a nice pipe. Looking beyond the obvious new Coinbox driver Meowser, the new cart, the Tiger Bruiser, I like it a lot as well. It looks really cool. I don't really use the bruisers much. The Glam Bruisers, they're both actually not very good cards, so I don't have them invested, so I never ride with them. I thought it was kind of a small card, but it's not that small. I don't know. I really like it. I think it has some nice starting tracks. And then going further, the Calico Parafoil is good. It's a good glider. I think it's one of the most underrated gliders in the game, actually. It's number 11 for raw coverage. It's way down in the rankings because it has bad skill and it's not ranked that much, but it's actually a very good glider front and coverage terms. And then I've got Cat Peach and the Toby balloons and her stat and everything. The Cat Cruiser is probably the weakest item out of this pipe. The Toby and balloons is a decent to above average glider with the Mega Mushroom skill, so maybe then a little bit gets a little bit downgraded because of its skill. And then Cat Peach is not a plus skill. She's got the Super Bell, but she has got some paywalls. So all in all, I think it's a very nice pipe. But yeah, really, I think if you have the rubies, even if there weren't other good items, you have to go in it for the Coinbox driver, for the new one.
Yeah, you bring up a lot of good points. I'll kind of roll through them. I want to first touch on the thing you mentioned, which is people going in with 150 rubies and you not feeling bad for them. I want to make sure that we're very, very clear, because this is a topic I heard kind of discussed briefly during Kevin Garrett's detailed review, which I highly recommend checking out. And he said, don't let the developers push you around. Like, if you can't go into it, don't go into it. And I think this is a very important lesson to talk about. And if you're learning it the hard way, or I think one of the people that do a really good job with this is Sammy D. I think he does like to have fun with maybe a YOLO pull or doing a fun pull, but he never dips below 500 rubies, and he always has that cushion, that wiggle room. And I think sometimes especially if you're on Discord and you watch these pull videos and you get excited, and especially as motivation in the game might be waning to some people, you could want to stimulate that and do a crapper 10 pull, or do a YOLO pull, or do pull parties, and I think all these fun things with pulling it. That is a luxury, in my opinion. That is something whales can do. I think if you are a free to play, you're gold pass only, I think you have to take a concerted effort to not do as many YOLOs, or you do as many fun pulls as you want to. You might have to pass up. You have to pass on a penguin toadette. Unless you like penguins have been like the thing you loved as kids, and like you could not get enough of penguins, and you were dressed up as penguins at every Halloween. Unless like penguins are your thing, you have to just hold out on everything from that tour. You have to make sure that you have over 450 rubies, because at any point in time they could drop something like this on us, and you have to be prepared. I think if you aren't, and you're kind of going from tour to tour, with 200, 300 rubies, and then you're putting yourself at a tough spot, because this if you do not get him, you will be at a disadvantage in the meta level strategy. And so when I say he is a must pull, it comes with some descriptions that I need to be able to relate to people, and that is, if you are free to play, check out Kevin Garrett's channel, and he'll say, hey, this is not a must pull for you. I think if you were free to play, you would have had to prepared for this, which I think we all had plenty of time to prepare for this. I think we were all expecting a Coinbox player to be coming. It had been a while since getting a Coinbox driver, and so I think you have to take that into account. And I think that there has to be some preparation there. Now, if you're a Gold Pass only, you have a little bit more wiggle room. But ultimately, hopefully, you were in the 300 plus at any point in time. If you like getting a pack or two, like there are some great packs this tour. This is not a bad tour to be getting a pack and helping you. But I will say it is a slippery slope. You could get one pack, and next thing you know, you're halfway down the pipe, and then so on and so on. So I think I'm really glad, Antilev, that you shared your experience from a free-to-play account that you have, is that you came prepared, with 450 plus rubies. You had to go deep, but you know what? You were okay. I think what's tough is we also have a gold pipe here in this tour, which makes things even more complicated. But I want to make sure everyone knows that this is a must-pull character. Asterisks, I want to make sure people understand when I say must pull. It does not mean like empty your bank account and get rubies to get him. Just, hopefully you prepared. Hopefully you can find a way to be able to get the rubies to get him. I know from talking with, say, Karim or Hero of the Skies, who missed out on Santa Bowser last year. They had 12 months of kicking themselves and saying, I missed out on him. Now, I will say, he's not going to, in my opinion, he's not going to be like Santa Bowser, and that Santa Bowser really only came out in that Christmas pipe. Think about, say, Tuxedo Mario, right? He came out, and then he's been in like 2 or 3 pipes or packs, etc., since then. So you found other ways to get him. I don't think he will be that frequent, but I also don't think he will be as rare as, say, Santa Bowser. I could see him coming in some type of special pipe in, the April-March timeline. So you'll have 3 or 4 months where you're set far behind. And I hope that if you don't get him, that you're not discouraged, that this doesn't end your game. It's not the end of the world. I do think, though, with Coinbox being king, a new Coinbox driver coming out, I do think it is, you will be at a disadvantage if you don't have him. Hopefully you get him. I hope everyone who's watching this video gets him in his first 10 pull or her 20 pull, whatever it might be. I pray that you have the luck in the pipes. But I think going forward, going into year 2022, just always, make sure that you have a certain cushion. If you're Gold Pass, keep it to 300 at a bare minimum. And that, if you're like a Dolphin, you can maybe be in the 200 range. But if you are free to play, always have to keep that 450 rubies ready to go for this exact situation. This is why you save this exact situation. And just remember, if you don't get him, just remember what this feels like, and maybe that'll help you save. Just like any other thing that you would save for, you have to visualize it and keep that in the back of your mind. So there's the soapbox rant. Anything you want to add to that, Antilev, about that?
Yeah, and one thing else that is maybe good to add is that, coming from a free-to-play perspective, you will sometimes have to make some difficult choices. Nintendo like to do this thing where they drop 2 really strong drivers at the same time or one after another. You had it in Ninja Tour where we had Gold, King Bob-omb and Ninja Shy Guy at the same time, and they turned out to be 2 of the best drivers in the game. If you're free to play, it's it's unlikely you're going to have enough rubies to clear 2 pipes. They did it again with Kamek, and then dropping a Kangaroo Yoshi right afterwards, and so many people didn't get Kangaroo Yoshi because they went all in for Kamek, and it's okay. I don't have Kangaroo Yoshi in my free to play account, but getting the whole Kamek set has been worth it, and when he comes back, maybe I'll have the opportunity to get him. But sometimes you have to make those choices. A lot of people were saving up for Santa Bowser and a couple of tours ago, and maybe you had to go deep for him, and maybe you didn't have time to recover, and that's fine too. I mean, I got lucky. I got him in the first 10 pulls, so I was able to even oversave rubies. So in the Penguin Tour, I had over 600. So I actually treated myself to that special card pipe. If I had to go deeper for a Santa Bowser, I would have passed it up. If I had to go really deep, then maybe I would have not had enough rubies then saved to get Meowser. But yeah, that's the choice you make. But I mean, as I said before, like a driver like this is the reason you save. It was my main point. If you have the rubies and you're doubting whether it's worth it or not, go for it.
Yeah, really good points. Additionally, I will say, when it comes to how we save, for the first year of me playing the game, I was playing catch up. And I think I hear from different players. Danny Sarko is an example that I know was on our server. I heard him on Frenzy Fans. They're trying to catch up, and it can be difficult, can be daunting, but there is excitement there. You're going to these gold pipes not having anything at 7, and things are fun. I will say, for my first year playing catch up, I didn't pull on unless it was Coinbox or Lucky 7. Again, it was my first year, so there wasn't Boomerang, and I wasn't really too excited about any of these other skills, but really, unless it was Coinbox or Lucky 7, I did not pull on any of the 100 pipes. And I only pulled on special pipes because there was just so much value there. For someone playing catch-up, those special pipes are so, so valuable. But the rare occasion is when I would go into a 100 pipe with a Coinbox or Lucky 7. But I made a strict rule. If it was not Coinbox or Lucky 7, I'm not going into that pipe. And as cool as a white snow skimmer would be, or as cool as a gray cat cruiser, I just don't have the luxury to go in for these items, specific items like that. So that would be my encouragement. I know Kevin Garrett does such a good job saving. It's almost like he's too good at saving. I think there's a compromise, right? I think there's going in for Coinbox, going in for Lucky 7, but you really do have to restrain yourself from pulling on a penguin pipe or whatever. And I know it's fun. It's so fun to pull, right? It's like literally the most fun part of this game. But I think you will be thanking yourself later if the more pipes you hold out on, living in the moment. So there you go. Talked a lot about that, but overall this is a good pipe. Last thing I'll touch on this pipe, you alluded to it, this Tiger Bruiser. I do think this is going to be a good cart. I think we typically see maybe one out of a family. When I say a family, I'm thinking like 3+, where there are like 3 original and maybe 2 reskins. That or more is kind of like a family. If there's just one reskin, I don't know if I really could consider it like a true family. But there's always, like, in a family, there's always like that one really, really good cart. And I think the other 2 bruisers were just so terrible with coverage that I do think that this one, like, they can't do all 3 of them terrible. So I do think I'm gonna make things tough for those that either don't get all the way in and don't get Meowser, but do get the bruiser. Enjoy that cart. Feel free to invest in that cart. I do think that's going to be a good cart. Let's get into each of these items and their coverage before we have a special slide talking about Coinboxers and how Meowser's Coinbox coverage changes the meta level strategy and how that what the ripple effects of that are. But we'll get into each one of his tracks in a second. Week 2, we have Catalina, Cat Rosalina. I think Catalina sounds amazing. It reminds me of Step Brothers. But she's got some unique coverage. Obviously, being Super Bell, not the best skill. It's a medium medium in the pack type of skill there. But the coverage is okay. She's kind of got some older tracks there, along with the Bowser's Castle, Chaco Mountain, Vanilla Lake, some interesting ones there. But I don't think she's a must pull. She would be a great, to my example I've been talking about, she'd be a great pipe to not pull on and just save your rubies. I don't think anything in that pipe is going to be end of the world crazy. Now, I do see in the meta level strategy that say the Karts in a week 2 pipe seem to have a lot of value. We've seen it with Rombi Runner, we've seen it with Silver King, but because we have so many Karts, I think the hype has gone too far, and I think people feel like they have to pull for those items because they're going to be so powerful. I would just say, to go one step further in what I've just been preaching, which is, the restraint is going to allow you to be able to do better in this game. I think if you get one of those, couple items, put tickets in that and ride that one out. Don't worry about having to get every single one, because it can be very, very daunting. And this week 2 pipe would be, out of all 3 pipes, the one I would hold out on. So Catalina goes into that category, as well as also the Gray Cat Cruiser. I talked a little bit already about this Tiger Bruiser. You can see all of their tracks there. We also have a Sports Coupe 2022, which has kind of a gaudy look to it, in that it's got all this these decals all over it. I think I love the cart, the look of it, the style of it. It's a little over the top with all the writing on it, but overall, I think it's worth getting. We'll kind of talk a little bit about that when we get to commemorative items. But the Black Cat parafoil, I know black items always seem to be very, very powerful. In 2021, I've already kind of talked about, maybe that changes with 2022. I will say this, I consider this a 2022 tour. We have 14 days that a tour is available. 3 of them are in 2021. The rest, 11 of them, are in 2022. We have, I think when I think back about Lakitu Party Time, I consider him a 2021 driver. I just want to clarify, if you need to compartmentalize it, this is a 2022 tour, and that's obviously by the description, a New Year's 2022 tour. So I just want to clarify, these items I'm considering 2022. So when I think about trends, some big trends in 2021. Obviously, black items have been baller. Now in 2022, we don't know if necessarily that's the case. If you remember, in 2021, actually 2020, green shell gliders were amazing. We had all these trends that were different from year to year. And I think that, potentially black items could be like the best items of 2021, but maybe they leave that trend in 2021. We don't know. It's still super early. In fact, 2022 hasn't even started for us here. But with that being said, don't feel like you have to pull on that. We'll see if it has value. But it looks like if you like cat items, this is obviously a great tour for you. I feel bad for you. I'm not a big cat fan in general. More of a dog person, to be honest with you. So these items are I'm not too attracted to the look. The cat parafoil, the black cat parafoil, like all these, there's just too many cat items for me. I have no, I'm not, the style of it all, it looks, in my mind, it's all the same. Except for this gold, the gold toe beam balloons, it's like quadruple dipped in gold. It looks so shiny, wax on, wax off. It looks like a beautiful glider. I think the only cat item that I'll say looks beautiful, that and maybe the Tiger Bruiser I'll give. Everything else looks pretty lame in my opinion. Black Cat Cruiser, you could argue, but look, we have 8 new items. Antilev, what do you think about so many new items, especially looking at gold items, coin box items, etc.?
So I guess we can kind of run through them like one by one. Meowser, we kind of covered him already. He's got his own slide later, so we can do that. Cat Rosalina, I don't like her start. She has only, I think, 2 tracks which are not Coinbox tracks, and one of those, which is RMX Choco Island 2T, it's got Shy Guy Ninja as a top shelf. So for me, it's a no, based on her starting selection. She doesn't seem that useful. The Tiger Bruiser, like I said before, I think it's really cool. I have quite a, I think it will be good. The one sort of thing I would like to mention about that is that it, out of its 7 tracks, it has three overlaps with the off-roader, which a lot of people have at high level, and it also has 2 overlaps with the yellow off-roader, which a lot of people are kind of like starting to get their teeth into now. So take a look at your own coverage and see if it makes sense for you. Grey Cat Cruiser, this is one of these, I feel like it could be a new Black Turbo Birdo. It's a small cart, so hitbox wise it's not really that attractive, but it has some interesting tracks and it fills some holes, I feel like. It's one of those ones where I wouldn't necessarily pull for it, because the weak 2 pipe is less attractive. But if you do end up getting it, I would say take a wait and see approach. I do see it being kind of sneaky good. The sports, so what was I going to say? Oh yeah, as far as one other thing, it has got overlaps, 3 overlaps with a Rombi runner, which a lot of people have, so that's maybe not that interesting, and 3 overlaps with Red B Dasher and also the Grand Bandwagon. So if you have any of those at high level, maybe it's less interesting for you. Going over to Sports Scoop 2022, yeah, it looks a bit plastic. I'm not sure. I don't know if I love it or if I hate it. I haven't decided yet. Unfortunately, it has a pretty weak start, only 6 tracks. So it doesn't have a lot of overlaps because it doesn't have that many tracks. It's got 3 overlaps with Wild Pink, and other than that, it's got 2 overlaps with some popular cards: Purple Bunny, Iron Cucumber, Inferno Flyer, Happy Ride, and the B Dasher Mark II, the original. All 2 overlaps. You know, it's based on its start. I would say it's not going to be that good, and it's a commemorative item, so it is starting a little bit behind the other 2. I would say, out of the 3, I would say this is probably going to be the worst one. My prediction. Going into the gliders, yeah, the cat parafoils, I didn't really get a good read on what I think. Are these going to be good? Are these going to be bad? They just look kind of like standard. Okay, here's a set of random. I will say one thing. This is a nice tour to be a new item in. No city tracks. A lot of tracks which are, you know, high scoring tracks. You've got your Dino Jungles, you've got Royal Raceway and Choco Mountain RT, the Toad Circuits, RMX, Rainbow Roads. These are all 200 action tracks, so it's nice to have these as a top shelf. Looking at the Black Cat Parafoil, starting with 8 tracks, it has 4 overlaps with the new Golden Wings from the Halloween Tour. So if you have that one, maybe less interesting. Also got some overlaps with Swooper, the Black Toby and Balloon, which is one of the top gliders in the game right now. Yes. Also, so 3 overlaps with all of these. Also with Vampire Wings, Tropical Glider, and Snow Crystals has 2 overlaps. So a nice set of starting tracks, but it does have some overlaps which are a bit worrying. Looking at the pink cat parafoil, the cat parafoil, yeah, the start is actually. It also has overlaps with some popular cards. It has 4 overlaps with 2 of the other new items. The New Year's 2022, the commemorative one which came out last tour, and the gold Toby balloons. Then it has 3 with Silver Starchute, Silver Manta Glider, Bright Balloons, Black Toby balloons, 8-bit Bullet Bill. All 5 of those has 3 overlaps with, and those are all really good gliders. So there's a good chance you have at least one of those at a high level in your account. So I would say be really careful before this one's in a banner, before buying it. Look at your own coverage. It does start with 9 tracks, but yeah, careful for the overlaps. And then finally, the gold Toby balloons. It looks like it's going to be non-spotlight in a special, which always is really annoying to get.
Yeah.
It starts with only 7 tracks. As I said before, it's got 4 overlaps with the new cat parafoil, the pink one, and beyond that, it has 3 overlaps with Silver Starshoot and Dry Bowser Umbrella, also both Sonic gliders. So, if you've got this at a high level, maybe less interesting for you. I personally feel like these special pipe coin gliders kind of have a mixed track record. I'm not super high on them, and I'm also not a big fan of the aesthetic of this one, so this is one I will probably be skipping. Other than that, I don't think there's a whole lot else to say. Like any other tour, new items, we have a lot of new items, but it's really going to be, not for 3 or 4 tours till we get some idea of the real value.
Yeah, Antilev, I think that summarization of these new items is probably the best I've heard yet, and that, that's really what matters. I think if someone is looking at just raw numbers, like, hey, Cat Parafoil has, starts out with 9 tracks, and the gold only, starts out with 7. That means that I like the Cat. Never look at the sheer number. Always look at the coverage, and I thought you did a really good job highlighting each of those coverage and seeing the black has this type of overlap versus this, and that's how people should be looking at these items and thinking about things like this. So never look at the number. Look at the detailed of what types of tracks you're getting. I will say the one caveat to that, not even really a caveat, but one thing that we can do and try to read between the lines or read the tea leaves is that maybe items that don't get as much coverage on a specific tour is happening for a reason. I remember Peach Happy this in the summer, she had a lot less coverage to start, but they were really, really good tracks. But my thought process is this seems really odd that she's starting out with so few tracks, or there was something standing out with why she was getting certain coverage. Maybe she was getting a lot of tracks, and I was like, why is she getting so many tracks? And then my prediction is maybe they're trying to give her as many. I think that's what it was. I think she started out with more tracks than a normal driver would start out with. And my prediction is that they're giving her all these tracks because we're about to go through a gauntlet of city tracks. And lo and behold, we did. We literally went through Sydney, and then back to. I think we went 3 of the next 4 tours were a city tour, and so. Or some type of variation of nitro track. So from that perspective, that's really the only thing you can read from the sheer number. And so I wouldn't get too hyped up about it. It is nice to try to say, hey, maybe this Cat Parafoil, maybe they're giving all these tracks because it's going to be, this might happen or that might happen, but don't worry too much about the number. Just look at the coverage. I thought you did a great job with that, Antilev. All right. Yep, go for it.
No, and the corollary to that is not necessarily true either. Just because something starts out with a high number of tracks doesn't mean it's going to be strong. Usually what I look at is how many tracks, if I max this out, if I get this new item and I max it out, how many tracks will it upgrade for me? For Silver King, it was 6 out of its 8 tracks, it would be an upgrade for me. So I was like, all right, I'm going in that one right away, because it's just, even if it doesn't turn out good, it's good for me. But on the other side, if it starts out with a small number of tracks, then actually you can read something into that. Going back to the last tour, and maybe this is going to turn out to be a terrible take in a couple months' time, but the White Snow Skimmer only started with 3 non-city tracks. That is a significant disadvantage to start out with. So, looking here at the Sports Scoop, only 6 tracks. We'll see. We don't know. But yeah, okay, sorry. Let's go.
No. I think all of it is really helpful, and I think it's probably the most helpful that we can describe, especially for those new players, because, there's so many times where, a good example, another one would be Peach Happy. She started where, I think, especially because she came out that tour, right before the Cheap Islands, or right around that same point in time, and she got so, literally for the first 2 tours, she had, she would give me 6 or 7 exclusive tracks. But then from that point on, she was absolutely not helpful to my account at all. And Saddle of You was taking her tracks, and every track she was getting, it just was a useless buff for me. Now I think it's almost
another one this tour.
Yeah, another one this tour. And so she's a great example for me. It's she started out probably hotter than any other driver, and it went the opposite direction. So I do think we see that sometimes where somebody has amazing coverage to start, and then it goes another direction. Or, Tuxedo Mario did the exact opposite, where He actually absolutely terrible coverage to start, and now he's actually been really, really good for me. I think I used him like 4 times last tour. I'm using him another 4 times this tour. So I think from that perspective, like, don't read too much into it. But if you can see, like, hey, for my account, I'm missing, the dry browser umbrella, right? Don't have the star shoot for whatever reason because you started late. Like, this can give me that track without having to worry too much about investing in that. Like, that's how you should be thinking about it. It's like, oh, I missed out on this. Here's a great like fill in. And that's really how you should be thinking about it, not necessarily just all the numbers. Everyone's account's a little different, and so you want to take a look at that. Now, as I mentioned, anytime that we have a coin box, we go through the stages of grief because we know that this coin box driver is going to disrupt everything that all our plans, not just our personal inventory, rubies, etc., but it also is disrupting how our coverage is looking, because we have other coin boxers and there's other coin box coverage. So I want to jump into this, right? So he's got 4 tracks immediately without having to take him up to level 3. So we'll go through each of these 4. First, we have Rainbow Road 2. You have a lot of great drivers here. 2 coin box drivers and 2 Lucky 7 drivers. Most likely, by now, you might have gotten Tuxie from a number of pipes. You can even get him in a pack this tour. Many of those who missed out on Bowser Santa made an effort to get him here a couple tours ago. Satellite View, probably the most rare of these 4. Luigi Painter, not far behind, but he's had even a couple options. You're probably set on this track. You probably don't necessarily need him. However, here's the thing, right? So if you don't have Bowser Santa, both Bowser Santa and Meowser both have the giant hitbox. So just think about hitbox as kind of a tiebreaker. It's not. I still think that coverage is the most important factor. If you don't have the track, you can't use them anyway. So don't, from that perspective, like, coverage is the most important factor. But if you're having to pick between Meowser or Tuxedo Mario, you're going to want to go with Meowser, all things equal. If they're the same level, same base level. But, if Tuxedo Mario is a higher level, you're going to use him. Like, that's how, no matter how much the hitbox is bigger with Meowser, you're still going to be wanting to use your higher level items. It is literally just a tiebreaker. But think about that, and that you, as you're investing, he's a great driver to take up to a high level very, very quickly, if not immediately, because he is going to break the tie for all of your drivers. So if you have Meowser, you have Tuxedo Mario, both at level, say, 6, 1190, you're going to want to use Meowser. So Bowser Santa there with Meowser, it kind of does steal into his value, so it's a track that's probably the least interesting, or maybe the second less interesting, or only behind this Calamari Desert. But then we have Bowser's Castle. We're very familiar with this track because it is in ranked this week immediately. And we have Kangaroo Yoshi, who is a boomerang driver. So I know many of us have been excited to be using Kangaroo Yoshi. He's a great driver. He's been getting great buffs. He's been really thriving right now. But and honestly, this track is phenomenal for boomboxing. I think you have 4 or 5 drivers on that second level. So Kangaroo Yoshi is a great driver for this track. But I've even seen so many great drivers, people that I really respect in the community, that I can see their scores. They're still, even at level 7, 1190, even some that have 1400. I think of, like, say, Carlos. They're still in, like, the high 40s on this track. Whereas I see other people that have Meowser and getting 50k easy. So I just want to say, there is an advantage to using Meowser on this track, despite a great setup for Kangaroo Yoshi. And maybe we'll stop there and get your opinion on those 2 tracks, just so that you're not having to go through all 8 at the same time.
Yeah, sure. So the first one, I think, is probably his weakest track, the RMX Rainbow Road 2. I mean, it's a great track to grind. It's definitely possible to get 200 actions there with a coin box driver, but you probably have it covered by one of the Lucky 7 drivers, or if you got Santa or Tuxedo, you probably have one of these 4 drivers, and 200 actions is possible with any of them. So it's not that big of a get. Bowser's Castle, it's a great track for boomboxing because, as you said, it's got 4 mid-shelf coin boxers, but it's a long track with a lot of base actions, so like actions without frenzies, or say like a single Lucky 7 or a single coin box or whatever. which, my personal preference is longer tracks with more base actions I prefer to do with Coinbox, and then shorter tracks I prefer to do with a boomerang driver. So like these Ghost Valleys or Bowser's Castle ones where there's only 4 item boxes the whole race, because a single boombox frenzy is just so many actions on its own. You can do that, and then like one other frenzy. It doesn't even have to be a coin frenzy, and you're done. Whereas for Coinbox, you need like a really perfect sequence in those 4 boxes, or close to perfect. On a longer track with a Coinbox driver, you have more leeway. So I have Yoshi Kangaroo on my main at a pretty high level, but I think I'll still use Meowser just because, I think I would prefer Coinbox on this track. That being said, if you have Yoshi Kangaroo, you may feel the sting of not getting Meowser a little bit less, because he does have 3 overlaps, and all 3 of his overlaps all have mid-shelf Coinbox drivers, so they're all boomboxable.
Yeah, if maybe you didn't get Santa Bowser and you got him, and then you put a bunch of tickets on him to take him to level 7, and you're low on level tickets, which this tour we got a lot extra just between different rewards and token shot, etc. But if you're short on tickets, don't feel like you have to take him for at least the rank purposes. You can hold off a little bit if you have Kangaroo Yoshi at a high level. But at the same point in time, it's not the best Coinbox track. There is some like wiggle to the track. It's not super straight, but there's still a lot of flat areas. It's great for Coinbox in general, and honestly, there's a couple points where it's tough to keep combo. I'll be honest with you. So having that Coinbox is helpful there too. Good. All right, Calamari Desert R, one that we've seen for so many years. It has Kangaroo Yoshi, which is a boomerang, as well as also Larry, not Lemmy, Larry. Larry let me know that it is Larry. And so he's got the boomerang. And then we have the yellow pit crew toad. So it's a track that is decent for a boombox. It's one that you may not need to take him up, but you don't see any Coinboxers there. So, and it's really kind of a dead track. It's not like a track that there's a lot of jumps or a lot of things to do. There is some detours that you can take, the little glide section. But in reality, if you just have a Coinbox and you're just getting a Coinbox single, you're going to be better off probably doing that than any other option. But I love this Calamari Desert R for him, and that's my personal preference. What do you think about this Calamari Desert R?
Yeah, I mean, if it was Calamari Desert 2, I would say maybe not so much, because those, I think, are 5-box tracks. But this is standard 6-box, 3 boxes per lap. A lot of big open spaces where you can, utilize the coin box. I like it. It's a bit of a pity for yellow Pit Crew Toad, because he's kind of, I mean, I'm still using, like because he's a super on my free-to-play, I was able to get him to level 6 now this tour. So, I'm going to use him. I'm not going to have any high-end driver at level 6 anytime soon in my free-to-play account. So that's fine. But yeah, for a more advanced account, it's a bit of a pity for Yellow Pit Crew Toad. Again, it has a mid-shelf Coinbox driver in, I think, Bold Bones. And so it is boomboxable, but I think it's a nice get to him. I was going to save this till the end, but I think there's a couple different ways you can look at his coverage. You can look at okay, he's only got 1 track where there's no other Plusical driver, or he's got 4 exclusives in that there's 4 tracks where there's no other Coinbox driver, which is a pretty strong start. Some of the more popular Coinbox drivers in the game only have 5 in total, like Vacation Peach, Pinko Peach only has 5. I think Tuxedo has 5 as well, or maybe 6, now I'm not sure. So 4 already is a really strong start. But then, yeah, I mean, that also depends on your view on boomerangs and boomboxing, if you count those as overlaps or not. And then finally, you can look in a sense of where is he even an upgrade? Because the only one that has a heavy Coinbox driver is RMAX Rainbow Road 2, which is why I say it's the weakest one as well. So then actually on 7 tracks, he's giving you a bit of an edge. Yeah.
Good points. For sake of time, move to remix Ghost Valley 1, because we could talk about this all day, just about all these tracks,
Sure.
because they're really interesting, and I think that anytime we have a coin boxer, like there's some major disruption, a lot going on. So it's Ghost Valley 1, like it's one that I think a lot of people pulled for Kamek. Very happy to get him, very excited. He was a big part of the game joining. Everyone was excited to get him. Now the one thing is that Meowser does have a larger hitbox than Kamek, so he is going to win that tie. But and if you don't have Kamek, this might be worth you getting him. But it's a decent track for Coinbox, and if you don't have Kamek, go for it. If you have Kamek, you can hold off on putting tickets on him, at least for that track. But I don't think you necessarily have to make any crazy moves right now. What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
You agree?
Okay.
I
agree.
Dino Jungle. This is one where Gold Cooper Free Running had his. I think you had mentioned in a couple tours ago that he had one of the more exclusive coin box for some of the classic drivers. He loses it here. This is one where he was Gold Cooper Free Running was the only coin box driver on this track. Obviously, a lot of people were using DK as a great alternative, but small driver. So when you're thinking about hitbox, Meowser is a much better alternative. Now, there's some great areas for Coinbox here. This is Dino Jungle T, where you're having to literally jump every 2 seconds. But there's some great Coinbox areas here. This is a great Coinbox track in general for him, especially since he does have his hitbox. This is one of the better tracks to have him on. Now, it's an older track. You probably have great coverage on it. So, especially having a super on there that probably the first one you took to level 7 being DK. I don't think you're worried about coverage, but when it comes to maximizing that track, he is a phenomenal driver. Anything to add to that?
No, but I mean so like in the last one, going from a medium to a heavy, you notice a difference, but it's not massive. But going from a light to a heavy, I think it was one of the Koopa Troopa Beach tracks. I just got my Rosalina swimmer up to the same level that I have the Gold Koopa, and man, it's like night and day going from Koopa to Rosalina. I mean, it's like a breath of fresh air. So this is really where hitbox and driver weight makes a big difference. Going from any track where a Gold Koopa or Gold Dry Bones to a heavy, it's for me it's a really big upgrade, and I think it's a tangible amount of actions you gain from making that upgrade. So in that sense, yeah, I think it's one of his better gets.
Yeah, definitely check out my hitbox video that I did late summer. Highlights all this, but you have carts. They have a certain dimension. That dimension is either stretched out or squeezed in based on the whether it's light, medium, or heavy. The coin box drivers that are light, you're thinking like Dry Bones Gold. You're thinking about Gold Cooper Free Running. Large, you're talking about Meowser, any of the Bowsers really, now that he has two. Rosalina Swimwear is a large. I know it's kind of surprising, but if you're going to be using Pink Gold Peach or her, you're going to be wanting using Rosalina Swimwear, all things equal. But that's really important. Check out that video if you haven't seen that already. And then Calamari Desert. You're probably all set for coverage. You have this track down. It is like literally the one of two tracks that Morton has. And I know Warren is like everyone's favorite, even though he only has two tracks. But it's something you're not worried about coverage. On top of that, this was a really, really good track. So I think the loser when it comes to Meowser, the loser is Kamek, in my opinion, because he really loses two great tracks where he was the only coin box option. With Calamari Desert here, it's another dead track where it's perfect for coin box. You're just literally just kind of going like a 10-degree angle to the left or to the right. It's a phenomenal track for a coin box. But you're most likely not worried about coverage. And this is going to be a huge upgrade though for number of points. Anything you add to that, Antilev?
Poor Morton.
Poor Morton, man. He's basically as useless as it gets.
Like a few weeks ago, he was actually still a viable option, but like Kamek, Yoshi Kangaroo, and Yellow Pitcoat all got him like recently.
I mean, I know in the comments I'm gonna get at least two RIP Mortons because I know so many people love him. I was never really too intrigued by the coverage. I was looked at his coverage above skill, and I was like, man,
people just love Giant Banana. They
love it. I get it.
It's
fun. It is fun. These next two tracks, these level 6 tracks, are in my opinion, the best options for Meowser, the biggest improvements, you have Remix Ghost Valley 1T. Now, it's a T track, not like a super, like not a lot of great option, like sections of the track for Coinbox, but you are still seeing a massive improvement, even if you're using Peach Happy. What are your thoughts on Ghost Valley 1T, the remix?
Yeah, that was one of the last few tracks that Peach Happy had, where it was like, okay, this is, it is almost like DK Pass R for Party Time Pauline. If she loses that, she's just absolutely, completely irrelevant. It's a great one for Meowser to get, and it's a bad one for her to lose. So, condolences to anyone who has invested heavily in Happy Peach.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'll be happy to. I'll like any comment that says "Rest in peace" for Peach Happy. I feel so bad for her. And then Bowser's Castle T, obviously a new track. It's a decent track for Coinbox. There's a lot of jumps and there's not a lot going on, and there is a lot going on. But him being the only Coinbox, him being the only plus skill, is phenomenal for him. A huge win for him. I don't think there's any denying that. Overall, I think Meowser is going to be a must-pull for about 95% of the community. There are some people where it may not be in your options, which I completely respect and understand. But for 95% of you, please pull on him. Regardless, you're going to win in the long run. Anything you want to add about Bowser's Castle T or about Meowser in general?
No, I mean, I kind of did the summary halfway through, but, if we're talking about advanced or, whale accounts, whatever, you're really going to be looking at this like, okay, actually he can be an upgrade on 7 of these 8 tracks because of hitbox or whatever, and so then, yeah, you want to get him to level 6 as soon as possible. If you've got some of these other drivers and you're kind of in the... So I think, that there's 2 groups of people who may not need to pull from him. I would say if you're very new, the gold pipe may be a better option just because you want to go quantity of coin box over the single driver. And then if you've kind of somewhere in the medium where you're not like a whale, but you're also not like, free to play where you have pretty decent coverage overall, you have most of these tracks covered, then you think, okay, maybe it's not that interesting. But I think for the advanced accounts and for for my free to play account, which is 9 months old, I've got my basic coverage. I've got like a decent stable of Coinbox drivers. I think I've got 4 or 5 Coinbox drivers at like level 4-ish. That's sort of my target. For me, I'm just gonna save rubies and pull for the new Coinbox or Boomerang or Giant Banana drivers. So that's I think, as you said, there's not a lot of accounts who won't find them very useful.
Good points. And I'm just glad they just called him Meowser instead of like Cat Bowser or something dumb. Like, you gotta love that. Like, that's, if there's anything you gotta applaud Nintendo for, it's that. No new changes to the permanent pipe items when it comes to drivers, carts, and gliders. It is nice to know the spotlights for week 2. Kind of already covered this. We're about 52 minutes into this video, so we'll kind of breeze through some of this. As we mentioned, this could be tempting if you really like cats. The Gray Cat Cruiser could be really, really tempting, but I would highly recommend, if nothing else, you've learned from this situation, which is just save from 100 pipes unless it is Coinbox or Lucky 7 or Boomerang or Giant Banana. Otherwise, just use the special pipes to be able to get maximum value. These pipes are for the whales, and when I'm talking about more than 2 pipes, or if someone's buying more than 2 or 3 packs every single tour, that's what these pipes are for. These are for the Carloses, the people who like to collect every single item. They could be valuable, guys, but it's not going to be worth your rubies. You're going to want to put them into something else, especially when we have other pipes like the one we're about to talk to. But anything you want to add about this week 2 pipe?
I know actually a lot of people who are going to pull this pipe just because there are Rosalina fans, and there are a lot of Rosalina fans, and we're getting a lot of Rosalina ults in the game. And that's fine. If you take it in isolation, this is actually a very attractive pipe. 9%, 3 new items, one of the best gliders in the game. Cat Toad is a really good driver for a non-coin box. Black Cat Cruiser is a bit the weak point, but for my free-to-play account, I won't touch it. For my main account, I also won't touch it. The reason I won't touch it is because I pulled off one of the most amazing feats of RNG yesterday. No, not a freebie, but I got. Not only did I get Cat Rosalina as a non-spotlight in my pipe one pulls, I also got the Grey Cat Cruiser.
No
so.
way. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy that I looked at it before. It's a 1 in 33 chance to get the Grey Cat Cruiser from your non-spotlight card. It's crazy, and I got 2 of them. I will never be that lucky again. But yeah, so I'm obviously not going to touch this pipe. I think if you're going to go into this pipe, it has to be because you love Rosalina and you love Cat Rosalina. Even though the pipe is so good, it's just the other pipes are more attractive. That's all. I think it's a good pipe. I think it's just unfortunate that in a tour with other 2 really good pipes.
Yeah, you know what? I that's a good point. I'm not going to tell anyone how to play this game. Everyone wants to play this game and have fun. I am 100% pro fun. I love fun. Fun is awesome. But those people, just know that if you want to have fun, just know it's going to come at a cost, and that cost is either going to be your bank account or you're going to miss out on Coinbox drivers. So I just want to make sure everyone knows that I'm pro fun. I love fun. Fun is great. But just know that if you go into a week 2 pipe to get Rosalina, Catalina, and a couple of these black items, that's cool. But just, I hope you had 700 rubies, because you better be also getting Meowser as well. Is my personal recommendation. I think you're going to regret, losing, 20 rubies, 30 rubies, 40 rubies, whatever it might be, times four tours. Like you're going to be costing yourself in exchange for fun, which is totally cool. If that's how you want to play the game, I'm not going to I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to say that you're an idiot. I think everyone should play this game for fun. Just know that for the meta level strategy, you should also be getting Meowser in addition to a couple Rosalina items if you want it.
Yeah, and this is not to say, like, a lot of people go approach this game with the strategy of, I'm just going to pull for my favorite characters, which is, I have nothing but respect for that approach. I think I actually wish I could enjoy the game in that way and just pull for the characters I like. So yeah, we're not knocking anyone who does that, but I think the whole point of this series is to try to maximize efficiency, looking at the numbers, looking at the data, and trying to make predictions on what is going to add the most value to your account. And in that perspective, then yeah, if you're going to choose between Catalina or Meowser, you have to go with Meowser. But again, yeah, that is just one way of looking at things.
We're pro fun, though. Everyone knows that now. We've cleared the air.
I'm 50-50 on fun, I don't know.
Yeah. Good. All right, so talk about fun. We have a gold pipe. Man, this is one. We see gold pipes, 2 or 3 times every year, it seems. And this is I think the most cluttered of the gold pipes. We have so many items. For whatever reason, Dry Bowser Gold is a spotlight in this pipe, and then the other items, there's looks like 5, 4, 9, 13 other additional items, so 14 total items in this pipe. This is if you're going for something specific like this brand new gold toe beam balloons, man, I feel bad. This could be really tough if you're going for that one specific item. But I think for the majority of players, especially if you're new and you want to level these things up, this is arguably the best pipe we've ever seen. Antilev, high level, what are your thoughts?
Depends on the odds. These special pipes, it always comes down to the odds.
What's your thoughts on the odds?
So I am going to say something kind of bold, and I think this is going to be a 14% pipe. I think we're gonna get 7 high ends here. So I hope I'm not setting anyone's expectations too high, but it looks to me a lot like the gold pipe we had in the LA tour, where if you remember, I think it was the gold home field glider was Spotlight, and then we had 2 next to that. 2 drivers, 2 gliders, and 2 karts. I think this could be the same, especially because the Spotlight driver is well, if you want to know more about him, check out our most recent deep dive of the week. That was very timely. But he's not like the most attractive driver out there. If it is the case, it's a good pipe to pull for accounts who just need coverage. There's some items in here which are very good. There's some items here which are getting very good. Gold carts used to be kind of a meme, but gold pumpkin cart and gold egg, for example, are getting really, really good. I would say don't go for this pipe if you want one specific item that isn't gold dry Bowser. It will be a nightmare just trying to pick one thing out of this huge bowl of things.
Yeah, I was gonna say they kind of took the way I'm kind of seeing this is they kind of took that gold pipe that had the gold wings and the gold pumpkin cart from like the Halloween time and basically infused it full of steroid items. Like they already made a cluttered pipe even more cluttered, and then I mean these items. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. If you started the game yesterday, this has to be your number one priority. This going into this pipe and like literally just stocking up on all of these items. Like if you were to create, if you wanted to, by the way, this is just something I thought of. If you want to have 2022 be an even more fun year and you want to create your own Gold Pass only account or free to play account, now would be the time to do it. You get so many rubies when you start the game. Like starting an account and getting all these items, even to level 1, would just basically set you up to be all the way up to like level 25, 30. You're going to be set. But these are phenomenal items. The downside, right, is that we have a lot of these items, at least the people who've been playing for a long time, at high levels, and so we're dodging and trying to get things, and it's so much more complicated for the older accounts, and this is one of the most amazing pipes for to show that Nintendo is trying to attract new players to this game. You are at an advantage if you are a new player and you're going into this pipe. You will get quickly caught up if you drain all of your rubies. Again, you have to be aware of Meowser. If you're going to skip him, I hope your account's like a month old. That's kind of where I would draw the line on skipping Meowser. But when it comes to stocking up on these items, this is a phenomenal pipe. It is going to come down to the odds, though, right? So we've seen highs and lows when it comes to these odds of these gold pipes. Typically, what we see is when we see a spotlight, we know the odds are going to be probably slightly worse than if we did not have a spotlight. However, the spotlight is not a good driver. This dry Bowser Gold does not have a great skill. So in our minds, and hopefully in Nintendo's minds too, this is not a great driver. So it's kind of weird that they have a spotlight. But like having a spotlight driver, even if you get, say if you have him at level 7, you're getting 6,000 coins instead of 5,000. Like it is nice to have these drivers and getting some duplicates if you need coins, especially with 14% odds. I'm kind of a little bit more bearish. I'm probably gonna say I would say maybe 1 spotlight driver, 1 high-end driver, 2 high-end carts, 2 high-end gliders. And the reason being is that there are two newish gliders in addition, like gold items when we think about the gold wings and the gold home field glider. And then we have this brand new gold toe beam balloons. And then we have the pumpkin cart. So really, I guess like technically 4 items that would be like, really, you probably don't have it at level 7. The rest of them have been around for a while. And so I'm thinking in that case, have 2 of those items, 2 carts, 2 gliders, but then have a spotlight driver and a non-spotlight driver. So again, 12% odds is still great. So I think in either situation, this is everything we've said still applies. But I like the bullish thought process there, Antilev. I hope you're right. But my guess would be a total of 6 high ends and 50 pipe, which is great odds. Good. All right, man. We're starting to pick up pace here. I like it. We're over an hour. We're getting to these packs. So, backstory: I was doing studs or duds, and then and I was starting to have fun with it. And then Reddit decided that they wanted to take the fun toy and take it home, and no one play with it, and would run on anything that I said was a stud or a dud. Really, this is a dud. Really, this is a stud. So I just stopped doing it, just to not give them ammunition. But you know what? This is year of the fun. This is 2022. So we're bringing the studs and duds back officially. I'm having some more fun with it. So we have this cat glider here. How desperate are you for rubies? It's not one that I would highly recommend, but it's not bad either. It's a new item, so if you need new coverage, but as Antilev mentioned, there's a lot of overlap with other gliders you have. So don't be too tempted by seeing that number of tracks and getting too attracted to it. Another one for this week is Studalicious. I would say this Tuxedo Mario and this Badwagon is by far my favorite pack of this tour. Unless you have Mario Tuxedo at level 7, this is a must get pack. If you get packs and you are even a above size quillfish, whatever's right below a dolphin, you have to get this pack if you're going to get any pack. That is for sure. And then we have by far the most perplexing pack. We have the Fireflower, which is a great glider, phenomenal glider, but it's the expensive glider. It's the 90 ruby glider. And instead, they give you the base points. So this reminds me of like the Iron Cucumber back in the Berlin tour, where it's like, okay, it's a cool cart. Does it mean something? And I think at the time it was kind of new, so we were like, oh, this must mean it's like going to be really, really powerful, and it wasn't. The Fireflower is really powerful, but it's not really new at all. So we already kind of know its value. It is very valuable, which is good. I'm not sure why it's in there. I guess they just wanted to give one more reason for somebody to throw money at the game. It's one that I've done a hard pass on, even though I need those. I'll tell you what, those driver base tickets look so tempting to me right now. I'm so depleted. I had to grind so hard to get Meowser up to 1190. But maybe we'll stop there. Ansel, what are your thoughts on the week 1 packs?
Concur. The tuxedo one is the one you want to get. Like I said, the cat parafoil I think might be the weakest of the new gliders. And 8-bit Fireflower. I mean, it might be my favorite glider in the game right now for investment. They made a typo and put it in a 90 ruby pack instead of a 45 one. Maybe Nintendo should check that and make sure they didn't make any mistakes. That's
good. That's a good point. I should probably change this to red just in case anyone is slightly confused. Why is it gold? Does that mean it's a stud? No. It's very perplexing. I think if it was a 45 ruby pack, it would be a stud. In this case, I don't think it's great value, but it's definitely a head scratcher. As for week 2, we got this New Year's kite, which it looks awesome. I absolutely love the aesthetics of it. We'll start there. It is a coin glider, I believe, right, Antilev?
Yep.
So it's got a decent skill. It depends on your preference on skills, but I think it's a great glider. It's an older glider. It's a glider that probably is maxed out on its coverage, and I don't need it on a coverage. I think if you get it, like, cool, it's there's nothing wrong with it. And you'll notice, kind of having this off yellow here. These are a great balance of pack items. You could really make the argument for any of these packs if you wanted to. And Lakitu Party Time falls under that mix as well. I mean, he's a Lucky 7 driver. He's been around for now 1 total year. The Party Wing, unfortunately, has not been a great cart, but like if you look at their coverage, I mean they're in the 20 range of number of tracks, and if you need that coverage, I think that's a great pack. Now I think many people already have him at level 7. Many people complain that a lot of his tracks have been taken by coin boxers, and people will complain that the Party Wing doesn't have great coverage, but I think if you're new, if you need a couple tracks from it, like you can't go wrong with getting that type of pack. I know we have, most of the times when I'm describing these packs, I'm talking to the dolphin who might just decide what 1 pack or what 2 packs am I gonna get. I think for those situations, for those dolphins, I'd say if you got one of the Tuxedo, one of the Lakitu Party Time, you're probably walking away a winner. Now, I will say there's every account's a little different. I highly recommend you take a look at that. But for the average dolphin, that's probably what I would describe. Anything you want to talk about the packs in addition to that, Antilev?
Don't get baited by the New Year's kite. It's one of these gliders or items which has the city disease. It's got 22 tracks, wow. But 9 of them are cities, so only 13 non-cities. It's got 6 Tokyo tracks. Wow. Yeah, so not even long city tracks. It does have 2 of the 3DS Rainbow Roads, which and those didn't used to have like really great options for gliders. So that's why you may have seen a few people having invested in it. And it also had the coin skill, which early in its time, which is like end of 2019, beginning of 2020, coin gliders are really valued. I think it's not a very good glider. It's from a different time. It's not for now. Party Time Lakitu, I like him a lot, but I mean, it's like you said, he doesn't have exclusives anymore so much. And Party Wing actually, I think, is a pretty underrated cart. It's kind of middle of the road for coverage, 17 non-city tracks. It's one of the best looking carts in the game. I think it looks so cool.
So cool.
Yeah, and hitbox wise, it's kind of. It's not huge, but it's tiny.
It is small, in my opinion.
I have to check the actual thing, but it feels like at least medium. I don't know. I think it's a cool card. It's one of those ones where you don't start off with it as like, okay, I'm gonna double cap this or triple cap at the start, but you use to fill gaps because it has enough coverage to be worth it. It's got a lot of the RMX Rainbow Road tracks. Yes, I think it has 5 of them. Wow. So it's a nice pack. To be honest, taking it all together, the only one where I think is really great is the Mario Tuxedo pack. The rest are all kind of a pass, I would say.
Fair enough. Let's talk about these commemorative packs because people might have to choose between one or the other. I think that I'm of the belief that when it comes to this game and getting something fun for yourself, this is a pretty low risk way to be able to get something that could help you on coverage with pretty low fiscal investment. But everyone's accounts is different. All these commemorative packs, just for myself personally, in case you're curious, I just get each one 3 times. But I understand, like, hey, for a dolphin even, just get it once, and I think you're set there. I think you're really just hoping that it helps you out with coverage. Now, the commemorative packs, as we talked about trends at the very beginning of this video, like, the commemorative items were king in 2020. In 2021, they were pretty useless, not useless, but they just they didn't get the same emphasis as they did the first year, which was smart for Nintendo because they got us all hyped up thinking that, each one of these were going to be home run hitters, but they haven't been. And I think that's probably going to hold true into 2022. Is it's going to be probably just slightly below average or slightly average. Or I guess you don't even need to use the word slightly. Just an average cart, an average glider, and it could help you, it could not, but it's whatever, pretty minimal investment there. And then you have the Premium Challenge high end, very, very random, similar to like Dixie Kong and the Banana Master. But Peach Kimono, you're probably not getting the challenge because of her. I'd highly recommend that the Premium Challenge Plus. That's great value there, and as compared to this Peach Kimono. What are your thoughts on the commemorative packs and the Premium Challenge?
I don't have high hopes for any of them. Peach Kimono is very mediocre. I would say buy the commemorative items if you like them. If you are the type of person who buys every Premium Challenge, then I don't need to say anything. If you're the type of person who buys an occasional Premium Challenge, this is not the one for you. She's not very useful.
Perfect. All right. We need to move along. We now got the buffs. So thankfully, we don't have as many buffs as we've seen in the last couple tours. So this might go a little bit smoother. There just was so much to cover, and really, we only scratched the surface. There were things going on in this tour. Different tickets that you're getting from token shots, etc. So we're really, I felt like we did a pretty good job in 70 minutes, but we'll get through the buffs. There are some buffs to go through. We're talking about 3 new tracks. Nice to see a super, the light blue Toad pit crew. He's got 3 additional tracks, so he's up to 6 non-city tracks, 1 city. And then Penguin Toadette, obviously coming out last tour, up to 10 and 2 cities. The tracks that she got was that Vanilla Lake 1T and the remix the Royal Raceway RT and the remix Royal Raceway 1RT. That must be Rainbow Road. So these are tracks that you probably have pretty good coverage on, so I wouldn't consider really any of those a major win. As we move into the drivers with 2 buffs, you got Tanuki Rosalina and Kamek. We knew these 2 were going to continue to see buffs. We saw once Tanuki Rosalina was in a special pipe and a spotlight, we knew she was going to be a top 10 driver pretty quickly. And then Kamek, no surprise here. He's number 1. We knew he'd be number 1. I don't think there was any surprise he was going to be the number 1 driver in the game at some point in time. Here it is. He's hit it, and these 2 new tracks are basically taking him all the way there. So he's got the Bowser's Castle R and then his Toad Circuit. So decent tracks there for him. He's up to 21 non-city tracks, 7 cities. As for Tanuki Rosalina, she's up to 22 non-city tracks, 1 city. Great for her. Bowser's Castle, Vanilla Lake 1. As for the rest of the other 3, we have Waluigi Vampire up to 18 non-city tracks, 3 cities. Getting the Bowser's Castle. Cool for him. I think these Bob-omb cannons tend to have really, really good coverage, just like sheer raw numbers. So we'll see how far he's able to climb, but he's got these Bowser's Castles there, which is really good. I mean, this is that's a track you want. I know it's like when we think about tracks that people get, you can get the city tracks, you can get remix tracks, you can get Choco Island, the 4T, RT, whatever, like. These Bowser's Castles are ones you want. It's hopefully a track that comes back over and over again. But just remember, Meowser's right there. Shy Guy Gold, he's got 2 new tracks. He's got Bowser's Castle R and T. 22 non-city tracks, 5 cities there. And then Yellow Pit Crew Toad. Yeah, you're happy about that. 13 non-city tracks, 0 cities there with Toad Circuit R and then the Donut Plains 1. So he's probably one of the biggest winners here right behind Kamek and Tanuki Rosalina. Moving into the drivers with 1 buff. You see here, Tanuki Mario, he's not seeing as much love as Tanuki Rosalina. He's really essentially 4 tracks behind and not being used quite as much for the rank purposes. But then you have Mario Salaview. He seems to keep winning. He is winning on winning. He is absolutely crushing it right now with the remix Rainbow Road RT. 16 on-city tracks, 0 cities there. And then DK Junior SNES still running on the hype train of 2021. He's got now 22 non-city tracks, 12 cities, Bowser's Castle T. He is number 12 on our list with, a whopping 34 tracks. Holy moly, Antilev. That's crazy. We have 5 Rosalina, 23 non-city tracks, 7 cities, so a total of 30 tracks for her. That's great for her. A lot of big fans there. Nabbit got a nice little freebie buff there with Bowser's Castle R, 22 non-city tracks, 4 cities. Peach Explorer, obviously one of these Bob-omb cannons we see so much coverage. She's now up to 32 tracks as well. Just one behind. I still can't get over it. DK SNES has 34 tracks. Holy moly. Shy Guy Ninja up to 25 non-city tracks, 4 cities. He's number 8 on our list. Bowser's Castle R. Wario Cowboy, who cares? Yoshi Kangaroo, a.k.a. Bounce 20 non-city tracks, 10 cities, number 7 on our list. He is still crushing. He's getting steady buffs, the rank buffs. It's like all the right buffs. So great to see. And then Birdo Blue, 9 non-city tracks, 5 cities. Antilev, what are your thoughts on? I know you want to talk about Wario Cowboy. What are you going to talk about with these buffs?
My favorite driver. Just took him to level 7. No. Yeah. So what was I going to say? Okay, so let's talk about Kamek's buffs first. He's got 2 buffs that are both coin box exclusives, so that is a huge get for him. The only one exception there is on Bowser's Castle R. He's sharing it with Ninja as well, so if you have Ninja at a high level and you like the coin box, you might be using him there instead. But still, getting 2 exclusives. He lost 2 exclusives, but he gained 2 exclusives, and he's got, you know, bigger coverage now. A Toad Circuit is a massive buff for him. It's because it was one of those tracks where you're like, they're never going to put a coin box driver on it. And you know, there are not that many tracks that return this this tour. So there are still some tracks he can get buffed on. There's still 16 tracks he hasn't seen. 4 different basic NRT type courses and another 4 RTs. So there's still some room for him, his set, and the Silver King to grow. Going further, Teleview, he's only 1 buff for him. If you don't have Santa, it's a great buff, but if you do have Santa Bowser, he's got that track, so that's kind of a bit of a dead buff for him for those accounts. I like seeing Shy Guy get another track. I mean, 25 non-cities is crazy. One thing I would like to point out when we talk about non-cities in this, Merry Mountain and Ninja Hideaway are considered non-cities. I know in a lot of rating systems, a lot of people consider them to be city tracks. I kind of lean that way myself, as they are not very common. So the numbers may be like a bit higher than by like 1 or 2, depending on, you know, how many tracks. If you look at Ninja, you would only have 22 non-cities if you weren't counting Ninja Hideaway as a non-city. Yoshi Kangaroo, like you said, he's steady. Also got quite some tracks still left to see. 27 tracks left to see, with all of his regular and RT tracks left. Not a whole lot else to say on this. It is kind of light on buffs, as you said. Because there's not that many tracks that we haven't seen for a long time that come back. Just mainly Toad Circuit and what's the other one that I deleted from everywhere? Vanilla Lake one. Yeah.
Yep. All right,
so you can see all the. If you could, going back, you can see all of the non-Bowser's Castle buffs. They're mostly all Vanilla Lake or Toad Circuit.
Yeah. That's probably why we only have, you know, a small selection of buffs there too. That makes sense. As for the carts, obviously the White Snow Skimmer being brand new, it's now up to 9 non-city tracks, 3 cities. Starting a city tour, so it'll always have, you know, the cities carrying around with it. And then we have 4 different carts. All kind of holiday-ish or Penguin Tour related that got 3 buffs. We have the Candy Clown, which surprisingly made through the Vancouver Velocity without getting a buff. It's up to 14 non-city tracks, 0 cities, and the Cheer Ship. Similar situation, but with only 13 tracks there, non-city. We have the Frostwing, which I'm a huge believer of. 10 non-city tracks, 2 cities, and then the Frosty Bells, 9 non-city tracks, 2 cities. Moving into the carts with 2 buffs, we have Lunar Cruiser up to 13 non-city tracks, 1 city. The Cream Bee Dasher up to 11 non-city tracks, 9 cities. It's got a lot of cities, but that's to be expected based on all the Bee Dashers, really. Black Cat Cruiser up to 16 non-city tracks, 9 cities. A lot of cities there for the Black Cat Cruiser. We have the Cact R up to 18 non-city tracks, 0 cities. So you love the 0 cities. It's number 15 on our list. That is surprising to me, but we'll get into that with the top 10. Sleigh Rider up to 10 non-city tracks, 1 city. And then we have the Gold Pumpkin cart up to 22 non-city tracks, 2 cities. Great for that cart. A little small hitbox, but it's up to 14 on our list. Then we have the Yellow Off-Roader. Probably, we'll get to the top 10. It's probably the most dynamic of all the carts that will be on the top 10 that we'll talk about. But it's up to 18 on-city tracks, 0 cities. Huge hitbox, great coverage, no cities, used and ranked. It's gonna probably give anybody a tough run for cart of the year for 2022. Then we get into all of the carts with 1 buff. We have the Black Circuit. I'll probably just skip through some of these, to be honest with you. But Black Circuit, Classic Bee Dasher, Mark II. We got the Zoom Broom. Obviously, it's got some coverage. It's very controversial. The Pink Bee Dasher, the Pink Wing, the red Crawley cart. We got the Silver King, the rich get richer there. Nice to see that. Silver King up to 21 non-city tracks, 8 cities, total of 29 tracks. That's phenomenal. Fast Frank, former top 10, 28 total tracks, 7 of which are cities. Green Double Decker, Party Wing up to, as you were alluding to earlier, 17 non-city tracks, 2 cities there. Vampire Flyer. Man, gotta love that. 15 non-city tracks, 2 cities. You mentioned it before. He's we'll get into the top 10, but it's in ranked all the time. Literally all the time. Not great coverage. I agree with you, but it is ranked all the time. Well, I don't want to spoil too much, but then we got the Gold Cheap Charger, 18 non-city tracks, 6 cities. Green Beat Asher Mark II, 13 non-city tracks, 8 cities. Red version of that cart. I'm not going to say it over and over again. 13 non-city tracks, 8 cities. And then the Blue Turbo Birdo, 7 non-city tracks, 5 cities. What are your thoughts on these carts?
So looking at the White Snow Skimmer, it needed a lot of buffs because it had such a poor start. It says here like it's got 9 non-cities, but 2 of those I think are Merry Mountains. So it really started off. So it's really, if you don't count those, it's got 7 non-cities. So it had 3 non-cities, and now it got 4 more, and they're decent buffs. But if you compare it to the Tiger Bruiser, actually, I think Tiger Bruiser now comes out slightly ahead, also 7 tracks, and the quality of the tracks is better. It very much needed that. I don't think a lot of people pulled for it, but I think you still have to take a wait and see, because only now it's up to like a sort of starting set of tracks. Frostwing is something I like a lot. I invested hard on my free-to-play account. Took it to level 4 and double capped it. So that is a big gamble. So I'm happy to see it getting a couple of buffs.
I think it's a smart investment, to be honest with you.
We'll see. I hope so. Yellow Offer, like I said, a lot of people are investing in this right now. It's huge. It's all around good. It's got the ranked appearances. It's got the coverage. It's got the size. I think if you are doubting it, these last 2 buffs, you can really feel confident in putting some tickets into it. Gold Pumpkin Cart, I mentioned it earlier. For how new it is, that is a crazy amount of tracks.
It's a lot.
22 non-cities. One of those is, I think, Merry Mountain, so there's 21 non-cities then. But it's like super new. I mean, it can still get. I mean, this is gonna get 25 non-city tracks. It's crazy. I'm going back. It's nice to see that Silver King got buffed again. Fast Frank is a really interesting one. It's not high in the rankings. Because it has a mediocre size, it doesn't have a lot of ranked appearances, but it's actually 5th in raw coverage, which is an interesting one. Yeah, so if you work on ACR a lot, you don't care too much about hitbox, that's actually a pretty decent one. Other than that, the Zoom Room, also, that one's up to 20 track. The whole Kamek set is so strong. That's really it. I think everything else we can touch on in the top 10 list. Yeah, really, all the ones with a green number next to it are really, really good to see. Cactar, Yellow Off-Roader, both kind of came out around the same time. Both are getting all the right buffs. They have great hitboxes. You mentioned the non-spotlight item, but in a gold pipe. That's always, anytime you're getting something in a special pipe, it's great value. The gold pumpkin cart's in that same boat. I'm sure the Frostwing will be in that at some point. And then the rich get richer when you talk about the Zoom Broom, Silver King, and Vampire Flyer. That pretty much is all we had to say. As for the gliders, we got 4 gliders getting 3 buffs. We got the Aurora Balloons, the new glider, 10 non-city tracks, 1 city. Candlelight Flight, 12 non-city tracks, 1 city. New Year's 2022, up to 9 non-city tracks, 1 city. And then the Galaxy Glider, 13 non-city tracks, 1 city. But obviously one of those buffs being in ranked. I love the Galaxy Glider. The other 3, it's more of a wait and see. Silver Surf Master, a phenomenal glider, well worth investing in. We'll talk about it when we get to top 10. 18 non-city tracks, 10 cities, phenomenal 2 buffs there. And then we have a number of gliders with 1 buff. We have the 8-bit Fire Flower, up to 25 non-city tracks. That's huge! Plus 7 cities, so you're talking about a total of 32 tracks.
Number 2 glider in the game. No surprise there. His little 8-bit buddy, the Super Mushroom, 17 on-city tracks, 0 cities. You love the 0 cities. That's great there. Blizzard Parasol, been around for a while. 17 on-city tracks, 2 cities. And then Dream Glider. So Kamek is crushing it. Everything Kamek. If it came out of that Kamek tour, specifically that's Kamek pipe, you are crushing it. Hopefully you went to that pipe. We'll have to see if Meowser is kind of the same way. And some of his items. I'm kind of hoping so. But it's up to 24 non-city tracks, 3 cities. Dry Browser Umbrella, been around for a while. Actually, probably was released maybe around this time last year. Up to 24 non-city tracks, 5 cities there. Interesting little buff there to make a total of 29 total tracks. Obviously, used to be a coverage king for sure. Gold New Year's Kite, 16 non-city tracks, 4 cities. Gold Penguin Wingtip, 4 non-cities, 1 city. That was the Gold Pass, I believe. And then going to another Gold Pass award gift, the Gold Tanuki Parafoil, 14 non-city tracks, 1 city there. And then Golden Wings. Again, any of these special pipe items are going to be in the top 10. They just are. Just a matter of time. 18 non-city tracks, 2 cities there. Magic Parasol, 16 non-city tracks, 4 cities. Meteor Balloons, 12 non-city tracks, 1 city. New Year's Kite, 14 non-city tracks, 8 cities. Pink Gold Meteors, 13 non-city tracks, 1 city. Ship's Wheel, again, another special pipe item, 17 non-city tracks, 10 cities. Starry Great Sale, 21 non-city tracks, 8 cities. Phenomenal glider there, number 9 on our list. And then the Vampire Wings, still a cool looking glider. We'll see if it has the end production that we hope it will. 17 non-city tracks, 2 cities. Antilev, what are your thoughts on these gliders?
So 8-bit Fire Flowers, like my new favorite. It's now got as many tracks as Black Great Sale. When you talk about the non-city coverage, the +3 buffs, they're all really new, so I don't think we can really say a lot about any of them yet. Silver Surfmaster, it's starting to get. It's the number 1 ranked glider. It's been ranked the most.
Wow.
So that's really what's been carrying its top 10 place. But now the coverage is starting to catch up. So if it does get more buffs, if it gets into like the 21, 22 track range, I could see it being like a top 3 glider. A bit further down the list, I mean, some of these gliders, like Golden Wings or Ship's Wheel. Ship's Wheel is also carried quite hard by its ranked appearances. I think it's 4th in ranked. And then some of them also get carried a bit by their skill or get knocked down a bit by their skill. Like Golden Wings, I think, without the coin skill, if it had like a neutral skill or something, it would be maybe about 10 spots lower. Other than that, what can you say about Dream Glider? It's the whole Kamek set is, like you said, it's absolutely crushing it. My free-to-play account, I took all of the 3 items to 4. I double capped them all, and I'm really happy about that.
Smart. I think Nintendo is trying to honor and praise those people who waited for their king to come home. So here we go. We won't talk too much about the algorithm. Nothing really changes since the last couple tours. As always, I like to describe that these lists are really, think about it as like a power ranking. This is, when it comes to the drivers, these are going to be probably the most likely to be in ranked, as also adds on that list, as well as also obviously Coinbox drivers. But many people would say the top 10 should be only Coinbox drivers. Can't argue that, but that's a pretty boring list. So essentially the algorithm is built in to kind of take into consideration a number of factors, all of which you see here, and think about it though as more of a power ranking. You can almost guarantee, as we look at these top 10, that probably 5 of these top 10 will be on top shelf for like 2 or 3 tracks next tour. Like that's just how it is. It's pretty consistent when you think about that. Obviously you have a number of these having top shelf here this tour as well. As we alluded to, Kamek, we knew the day was coming. It is today. Number 1 driver in the game, up 4 spots. No surprise there. It's going to be a matter of how long can it stay on top of the mountain and stay king of the hill. we have Berto Black. Phenomenal year for Berto Black. It's happening at an interesting time. I wonder if her reign has ended. She is down one spot though to number 2, so don't rain on her parade too much. She's still got great coverage and still phenomenal driver. But especially now that she's much more frequently available, she's in 100 pipes. We've seen her across the board in packs and whatever. She's much more frequent. I wonder if now is the time that they're gonna hang her up, kind of similar to like a dry Bowser umbrella, where it's kind of a steep runoff. But we'll see. Time will tell. Tanuki Rosalina, we've already kind of talked about her a lot, but we knew she was going to be really, really valuable coming out of that special pipe. She's up 3 spots to number 3. Penguin Mario down 1 spot though, still solid coverage when it comes to being in ranked and everything else involved in the algorithm. Down 1 spot to 4. Biller Toadette, she obviously she's one of the most intriguing. I get the most comments on her on the videos about why she's in the top 10. But really, she has had great coverage. She's been ranked a lot. She's still great. Down 3 spots, though, to number 5. And then Peach Happy. This is, unfortunately, one of the tours that keep raining on her parade. She's down 2 spots to number 6. Still solid, though, to invest in. But as we've just seen some great drivers take over her tracks. And then Yoshi Kangaroo, a solid driver. He seems to be in ranked. Whether he gets like crazy buffs or not, he just seems to be super, super consistent. Number 7 on our list. Shy Guy Ninja, up 2 spots. We've seen him as high as the number 1 for quite a while, and I think he's going to hang around in our top 10 for a few more tours. He's obviously had a phenomenal year, and hopefully 2022, at least the first couple months, will be phenomenal for him too. Peach Explorer up 3 spots to number 9 on our list. We've seen her at the top. These Bob-omb Cannons seem to just like to get great coverage and always a favorite to be on our top 10. And then Luigi Painter down 2 spots to number 10. Obviously Lucky 7, phenomenal for him. He's one of 2 Lucky 7 drivers on this list. And then rounding up the top 15, we have Baby Mario Koala at number 11. Donkey Kong Jr. SNES at 12. He's been holding down that 12 spot for a while. Bowser Santa up to number 13. I don't think Bowser Santa's... Has he ever been in our top 10? He's been just outside of it. King Bob-omb Gold at number 14. He's obviously a former number 1. And then Dry Bones Gold, one of the old school coin boxers that's just been kind of lingering in our top 10. Former number 1 back in 2020. But Antilev, what are your thoughts on the top 10 drivers?
Yeah, so Kamek is number 1 with his 2 really good buffs. He's being carried by, he's good all around. It's got a good ranked score, got decent coverage. The category which we use to judge drivers, Coinbox overlap, he's ranked number 1. Now, I will say that does include cities. He's got 12 courses between cities and non-cities where he's the only Coinbox driver. But 5 of those are cities. So he's actually got 7 exclusives when you talk about non-city courses where he's the only Coinbox driver. That's still good for second in the game behind only now Gold. Actually third, because there's 2 tied for first. There's Gold Koopa Free Running and Santa Bowser, both with 8 now. But he's still, well-deserved number 1, and it's good to finally see him up there. Yoshi Kangaroo, he's number 5 in ranked appearances lately. He's just been killing it in ranked. And Tanuki Rosalina, she's just getting good, so good all around. Number 3 in ranked, number 4 in raw coverage. Ninja Shy Guy, he actually has the second best raw coverage of any driver in the game. Even not even taking into account his skill, but he's 37th in ranked appearances, so that's why he's not higher up the list. For me, he's still, he might still be my favorite driver in the game. I think he's great. And then, Peach Happy at number 6, she's number 1 in ranked appearances, and everything else she's just kind of meh, so that she's really being carried by having been in ranked a lot. But I would say her star is falling, because that could end any tour.
Good. I like it. As for the carts, we have the top 4 carts still holding it down. These are solid, and maybe I'm excited to hear a little bit from you as to which category these are leading, but they seem to each be kind of like leading their own category. Silver King being a baller cart. If you took this to level 7, I got it at 1, and then I've just upgraded other things. I've been regretting it. I wish I would have just put tickets on that. I probably would be saving more tickets than just putting little tickets here and there to the other carts around it. Kinex Zoom Broom, phenomenal on paper. In the game, a little bit more difficult. He's hated or loved. Hated or loved. Romby Runner, still number 3 on our list. Obviously, great coverage there. Nice hitbox as well. Black Turbo Roberto, former number 1. Small hitbox, but crushing all the other categories. Vampire Fly, this is my favorite one on the list. Obviously, it's one that I took to 7,700. I know Antilev feels a little differently, and we talked about it in the last rundown, but up 2 spots. It's in ranked right now. I'm absolutely crushing it on this Bowser's Castle. Absolutely loving the hitboxes. The most fun cart to use, in my opinion. Number 5 on our list. And then the Yellow Off-Roader, up 8 spots. So this is the big one that jumped. And really, I thought we all knew that it was going to have, obviously, a really, really good stat because of the hitbox. But up 8 spots, I don't think we were expecting it to be number 6 on our list at this point. But honestly, I think when you look at the hitbox and getting that tiebreaker, you can't argue it, man. It's one of those. I've seen people have the yellow off-roader, the brown off-roader, and the regular off-roader 700, and they're just crushing it every other track. So can't argue that strategy. It's a great cart to invest in, and it's on the rise. Painter down 2 spots to number 7. Tanuki Karts, obviously a really fan favorite there. Might be the best that comes out of that Tanuki Tour. Rosalina obviously giving it a good run for its money. Secure Quick Shot up 1 spot to number 9. And then Crawley Kart back into the top 10 to number 10 right there, up 1 spot. Rounding out the top 15, we have the Rose Taxi at number 11, the Sunny Surf Sailor at 12, Purple Bunny at 13, Gold Pumpkin Cart at 14, breaking the top 15 right there. We'll see if it breaks the top 10. And then Cact R breaking the top 15. Not seeing as much love with the Yellow Off-Roader, but you're still very happy with it being number 15 on our list. So young in the game. Antilev, what are your thoughts on the top 10 carts, top 15 carts?
So let's start with your favorite, the Vampire Flyer. What I said last tour, so it's being carried again by its hitbox, tied it for the biggest in the game with the off-roaders. It's even better in ranked now, number 6 in the ranked rankings. Its coverage it's getting there. It's still not there. 63rd and 60th in course coverage value and weighted course value. Again, it's not that strange. It's a new cart. I would say if it gets up to like 18, 19 courses, and it's not far off. I think it's on like 15 courses now. So I would say 3-4 more buffs, and it might take number 1. The Zoom Broom is just really good all around. Number 1 in ranked, number 8 in raw coverage, number 9 in weighted coverage. One thing that I also mentioned before, a Gold Pumpkin Card at number 14. It's actually got the second best coverage stats in the game.
Wow!
Even though it's such a new, but it is so small. It is ranked 187th in size. So that is just weighing it down. I mean, if it was just a medium, it would be the number 1 cart. It's crazy, So
really, so if it was the size of, say, the Quick Shot, you're saying it would be the number 1 cart in the game.
I think so, because it's number 11 in ranked and number 2 in CCV and number 2 in weighted. I mean, or it would be top 2 for sure. So that one's really killed by its size. If we were looking at these rankings before introduced the cart size component, it would be way higher. So that's an interesting one. And then that one thing I mentioned before, Fast Frank, it's not even on the list. It's at 22, but number 5 in raw coverage and number 8 in weighted coverage. But it's number 99 in size and number 49 in ranked appearances. And then one other thing on the list, I was actually really disappointed that Tanuki Kart didn't get a buff. It seemed like tailor-made to get a Dino Jungle, and it didn't get any of the 3. Yeah, it's got the RT already, and I was like, it's nailed on to get a DDJ, and it did not get it. So I was really disappointed with that, because it's one I have my eye on. I have it level 1. I want to invest in it because it would provide some upgrades for my account. So I was really disappointed it didn't get any buffs this week.
Oh man, that would have been so cool. Yeah, that would have been fun. I would have liked that. Yeah, hey, curious, side by side, Gold Pumpkin Cart and Black Turbo Birdo. Why is Black Turbo Birdo number 4 and Pumpkin Cart number 14, 10 spots different, even though the hitbox is probably, roughly similar?
So Black Turbo is actually a bit bigger. It's ranked 147th, and it's also slightly better in ranked. It's ranked number 8 in the ranked. So 8th versus 11th in ranked, and 147th versus 187th size. That's what I'm saying. Even if it was just an average size cart, the Gold Pumpkin Cart, it would be top of the heap.
Yeah.
But Black Turbo Birdo is still the coverage champion. It's got the best weighted coverage and raw coverage.
So I know hitbox people weight it differently. I think for me, I'm a hitbox believer. I was one of the first in the community to really get on board and describe it and pull it apart. And so I'm a huge believer in the hitbox. If you don't believe in it, though, Gold Pumpkin Cart, Black Turbo Birdo, these are great carts to invest in. Fast Frank as well. So whatever your philosophy is, whatever your belief is, feel free to invest in that. Just know that the coverage is great. I appreciate you going into detail on that, Antilev. That always really, really, really helpful. As for the top 10 gliders, we talked about Dream Glider still dreaming on top of the world at number 1. We talked about the 8-bit Fireflower at length, number 2 on our list, up 1 spot. Got phenomenal coverage there. Now the Black Toe Beam Balloons still got great coverage alongside with the Black Rate Sail. Just it happens to be this Dream Glider and the 8-bit Fireflower are just going balls to the wall, all out. And so the Black Toe Beam Balloons, Black Rate Sail, still 2 great items. Unfortunately, the Black Toe Beam Balloons went down 1 spot. Black Great Sail up 1 spot to number 3 and 4, respectively, on our list. Springtime Crane up 1 spot to number 5. Glinting Glider down 2 spots to number 6. Golden Wings, the biggest jumper on the list, up 7 spots to number 7. Phenomenal glider there. Obviously, as you know, anything in a special pipe, especially debuted, it's going to be an absolute baller. We'll see how much more it goes up. It's up 7 spots now, still being pretty new. Wonder if a race to the top between that and the Vampire Flyer, which one will get there first. But I could see them both being number 1 items in the game at some point. Silver Surfmaster, still decent jump, up 3 spots to number 8 on our list. As you know, silver items are still a fan favorite for Nintendo as well. Starry Great Sail down 2 spots to number 9. And then the Gold Home Field Glider down 2 spots to number 10. As we round up the top 15, Yukata Ribbon, number 11. The 8-bit Bullet Bill, number 12. Silver Manta Glider, number 13. Man, that Silver Manta Glider dropped, man. Maybe you'll get into that. And then Sheep's Wheel, which it's actually the Ship's Wheel. And I caught it last time and still posted to Reddit saying, you know what, I don't care what people say. I just don't have the time and bandwidth to correct every little change. I get more comments on stuff like that than anything else. It's hilarious. And then Rose Parasol, number 15 on our list. So there we go. Those are our top 10 gliders. Antilev, what are your thoughts?
Just a couple of points. Like I said before, the Ship's Wheel is really being carried by its ranked appearances, number 4 in rank. It's only 39th in raw coverage, 53rd in weighted coverage. Gold Home Field Glider is being carried a bit by the skill. I mean, coin gliders in general get a bump from being coin gliders. It's 15th in ranked, 40th in raw coverage, and 33rd in weighted coverage. If you neutralize the skill component, it would drop down to 21st. A counterpoint to that is an item which is on the list, but it's Bright Balloons, which has, I think, the Super Horn skill, which is absolutely bottom of the barrel. Without skill being a component, that would be up to number 10.
Wow.
For an example, yeah, it's interesting. A little bit further, 8-bit Bullet Bill is 6th in coverage and weighted coverage, so it's not so good on skill, and the ranked is not that great either, but it's still a very good glider from a coverage perspective. And then I think we mentioned it already, but the Silver Surfmaster, the number 1 glider for ranked, and it's actually, looking at the raw numbers, it's not even particularly close. I think it is like its ranked score is like 15 or 20% higher than the number 2, which is Dream Glider. It's been in ranked a lot. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot else to add.
Yeah, man, we'll see how high those golden wings go. Sammy was really excited about investing in the Starry Grade sale. I'm curious. It seems like all the sales seem to be dropping. Compared
It's
to
funny that Starry Grade sale is dropping because it got buffed, and you usually don't see that. But I guess a couple of items above it just got buffed way more.
Yeah, I mean this Silver Surf Sailor, this Golden Wings, 8-bit Fire Flower. Really, I mean even the Black Topian balloons. I don't know if it got a buff, but I think it's in ranked. It's still dropped down one. So yeah, man, stuff like that happens. We just have so many things getting good buffs. It's but really anything on this list is worth investing in, including the Starry Grade sale. For the top movers and shakers, we have some drivers I want to point out. Penguin Toadette obviously went up a number of spots, being so new. Again, the buffs it did. Up to number 76 on our list, up 14 spots. Waluigi Vampire, up 13 spots, number 29, just outside the top 20. Alongside Mario Salaview, up 9 spots to number 25. I'm pretty confident he'll break into our top 15 very shortly. Shy Guy Gold, up 8 spots to number 35. Wario Cowboy up 8 spots to number 67. Light Blue Toad Pit Crew. He's got a lot of names there. Up 5 spots to number 117. Still not great necessarily, but not a big deal. And then Kamek, we've already talked about him jumping up 4 spots. Nabbit, for its little buff it got, up to 24. We got the yellow Pit Crew Toad, a phenomenal super, arguably the best super in the game right now, up to 77 on our list. And we talked about Rosalina Tanuki going up as well. As for the cards, I won't get into all of them, but the biggest changer was the Cheer Ship. It went up 52 spots. However, it's still only number 91 on our list. It's got a really small hitbox, so I kind of doubt that that's going to get too far above our top 50 or so. Candy Clown, kind of similar situation, up 38 spots to number 70, so slightly higher there, but they're neck and neck in those, higher 70, 80, 90, etc. White Snow Skimmer up 34 spots. That makes sense. It's a new item. Sleigh Rider up 33 spots to number 90. Really, Frostwing up 30 spots to number 60. So 60 is good. Now we're talking. Right next to it is Party Wing. It's number 62, up 27 spots. Cactar, we talked about that. It's up 25 spots. So, we talked about how big the Yellow Off-Roader went up. The Cactar actually went up more. It just was farther behind. Gold Pumpkin Card, as you alluded to, up 21 spots to number 14. We could maybe even see it into the top 10 if it gets some ranked love there. Black Cat Cruiser, up 13 spots to number 24. And then Red Bee Dasher Mark II, up 13 spots to number 46. Not really even worth talking about. As for the gliders, we got the Galaxy Glider. This is the one I love the most. I think it's definitely worth investing in. Up 34 spots. I'm using it ranked. I love it. I'm going to keep using it ranked. I have a really strong feeling in. It's number 55 on our list though, so it's still kind of too early to tell. Candlelight Flight up 32 spots to number 54. Pink Gold Meteors up 27 spots to number 42. Aurora Balloons up 15 spots to 58. New Year's 2022 up 12 spots to 103. 8-Bit Super Mushroom up 11 to 32. Magic Parasol up 10 to number 29. Meteor Balloons up 10 spots to number 45. Vampire Wings up 9 spots to 17th on our list. And then Blizzard Parasol up 9 spots to number 73. Antilev, what are your thoughts on these movers and shakers?
Yeah, so like you said before, when these big movements that are taking place lower down the list, I mean, they don't, I would say until something cracks the top 50, it's not even really worth paying that much attention to, because there's so much movement on these like lower items. Like one buff can move it, 20 spots, no problem. Galaxy Glider, I think it's a promising one. It's another one which gets penalized because of its skill. It's got the Mega Mushroom. It would be 39th if skill were not taken into account for gliders. So yeah, I mean that's not necessarily a bad choice to invest in. Other than that, the Satellaview, like I already told, like what I think a bit is his buff was not that interesting, but it depends if you have Santa or not. And yeah, going beyond that, I don't really. It's a pretty stable tour because we don't have a lot of returning. We don't have a lot of buffs, and we don't have a lot of returning older tracks that we didn't see in a while. So that's why you see, especially amongst the drivers, there's not like a huge delta. We're looking at drivers with the +4 and +3 and stuff in the ranks. So yeah, not a lot to talk about. I would be honest.
Okay. All right, for All Cup ranking MVPs, we obviously have a Meowser and a couple of his items with 11 total tracks out of the 36 in All Cup ranking. Obviously, his Tiger Bruiser, still seeing some major coverage there with 11 as well. And then the Cat Parafoil, although we talked about it's 7 tracks there. It's used 11 times, obviously, because many of those tracks are used twice. We got the Black Cat Parafoil and the Gold Tobin Balloons, both 10 tracks out of the 36. Then we have Catalina, 9 total tracks of the 36, and then the Gray Cat Cruiser, 9 as well. So there you go. Those are the new items that are obviously being heavily used in our All Cup ranking. Now we're starting to get into the area where we have items that, obviously not new, but some new, but mainly items that you could have at a higher level. Things like Peach Explorer, having 8 tracks this tour. Sports Coupe 2022, and Party Wing, and surprisingly a Bolt Buggy, all with 8 tracks this tour for All Cup ranking, and then the New Year's 2022. It's rare that we see a Super on this list, let alone up that high, but it is...
especially the Bolt Buggy. It only has 11 tracks. It's crazy.
That is crazy. Maybe while you're reading this, you can tell me which tracks those are, because makes me want to take it to level 7 just to see if it helps me out.
Yeah, sure.
Penguin Toad, Kamek, Tanuki Rosalina, Cat Toad, and Peach Wedding, all with 7 tracks this tour. Black Cat Cruiser, Banana Master, and Wild Pink, all with 7 as well. And then Calico Parafoil and the Golden Wings with 7. So there you go. Out of the 36 tracks, these are how many tracks these items have for All Cup ranking. Antilev, curious what those Bolt Buggy tracks are.
So Bolt Buggy has 11 tracks at level 6. It's got 3 RTs, Dino Jungle RT, Donut Plains 1 RT, Tokyo Blur RT. Aside from that, it has got 2 of Dino Jungle, 2 of Vanilla Lake 1, 2 of Calamari Desert 1, and 2 of Donut Plains 1 variant. And that's all the N and R, except for Calamari Desert. It's got R and T, so this tour is just like tailor made for this. They basically looked at his tracks and like, oh yeah, let's have all these.
There you go. Yeah,
it's all the stars aligned. It's funny.
Yeah, why not, right? For ranked, so we'll kind of break things down here. We have which is the tour this time? Is that Pink? Is that just Peach? Peach Tour?
It's Cat Peach. It's
Cat Peach Cup. Tour. Nice. Yeah. Gotta like her.
So I think that's a new type of cup. So that means Cat Peach is now eligible for cup boosts, which is interesting.
That is very interesting, meaning that she can get top shelf, even though she doesn't have that normally. Mm-hmm. Bowser's Castle, nothing unlocked. So what you see is what you get. Royal Raceway, you got a couple options. Yellow Pickery Toad, hopefully you have him at level 6. He is a beast on this track. He's arguably, between him and Peach, and Happy Peach, one of your best options. Cactar, level 3. Pink Dozer, level 3. And Inferno Flyer, level 6 for Royal Raceway RT. And then Cat Parafoil at level 3 for Royal Raceway RT. Probably have you might have decent coverage there. You may not. One that you definitely have good coverage on: Dino Jungle T. Been around for a while. Peach Explorer and Yoshi Egg Hunt, both, and Fire Bro, which is obviously a super. All unlock Dino Jungle T at level 3. Bumblebee, Dark Buggy, and Off-Roader unlock Dino Jungle T at level 3. Banana Wingtip, Sweetheart Glider unlock at level 3, and then the Golden Wings unlocks at level 6. Good to know there. So if you've been looking to invest in Golden Wings and you don't have maybe a level 6 or level 7 driver, one worth investing in. Moving into week 2, we got the remix Rainbow Road Rainbow Road 2. Catalina unlocks level 3. So she's still pretty new. It might be hard to have her at level 3, but if you need to, you can pull her and ticket her. Not highly recommended, but it's an option. Highly recommend, though, Mario Tuxedo at level 6 if you need to put tickets on him or get a couple packs to take him to level 6. Great option for you there. Secure Quickshot at level 3. Painstar at level 6 for this Remix Rainbow Road 2. You get the Flying Easel at level 3 and the Gold New Year's Kite at level 6 for this Remix Rainbow Road 2. Moving into Choco Mountain RT. If you need another reason for Mario Tuxedo, this is a great track for him. Cat Rosalina, level 6. Yellow Rough-Roader at level 3. Great Cat Cruiser at level 6. Yukata Ribbon at level 3. Black Cat Parafoil at level 6. And then moving into the final track in Ranked next week, Bowser's Castle T. Meowser is unlocked at level 6. Let me say that again. Meowser is unlocked at level 6. Please take him to level 6 if you need help with Ranked. Highly recommend that move. Gold Toe Bean Balloons at level 6 unlocks that track as well. Hopefully that helps you in Ranked. Now, all in all, when you take into consideration what's unlocked and what's not unlocked, here are the multiple use Ranked items, or as Frenzy fans like to call it, a double feature or a triple feature. In this case, Builder Toad is used 3 times, Meowser is used 3 times, and Mario Tuxedo, Catalina, all used 3 times. Now, there are a couple different distinctions. Meowser, as we talked about, unlocks that Bowser's Castle T at level 6. Mario Tuxedo, as we just talked about, unlocks Dino Dino Jungle at level 6. And then Cat Rosalina, we've talked about her, 2 unlocks there, but she's got a total 1 unlocked at level 3 and 1 unlocked at level 6. Cat Peach unlocked, she's got 2, these next ones, Cat Peach, Mario Racing, Peach Halloween, Cat Toad, and Peach Explorer all have 2 tracks in Ranked these next 2 weeks, with Peach Explorer having 1 unlocked to level 3, which we just talked about. As for the carts, the big ones, there's 2. Grand Badwagon, which is in the pack, which we've talked about, and the Great Cat Cruiser. Both have 3. It's a triple feature there. Now, the Great Cat Cruiser is new. You may not be able to unlock it to level 6. But the Grand Badwagon, this is a great ranked tour for it. You got the Tiger Bruiser, Cactice, Cat Cruiser, Purple Bunny, Sports Scoop 2022, Wild Pink, Jade Hop Rod, Party Wing, Rose Taxi, Yellow Off-Roader, and Cactar, all getting 2 tracks in these 2 weeks of Ranked. Now, I will say that the Yellow Off-Roader and the Cactar, those are unlocked to level 3. So if you don't have a level 3, you will have to unlock those to be able to see it, which we just talked about in the last slide. And then finally, in Gliders, the big one is the Black Cat Parafoil. It is used 4 times, one of which is unlocked at level 6. Snow Crystals used 3 times. I think you're loving that with your free-to-play. I'm loving it too. It's one that I had to invest in for last tour, which I never really got into. I'll kind of talk about that at the very end. But Cat Parafoil, Black Toe Bean Balloons. Cat Parafoil and the Snow Crystals used 3 times in Ranked. Black Toe Bean Balloons, Bright Balloons, Ice Bean Balloon. Toe Bean Balloons, Peak Gold Meteors, Yukata Ribbon, Gold Toe Bean Balloons, and Golden Wings, all used 2 times, with Yukata Ribbon unlocked to level 3. Gold Toe Bean Balloons unlocked one of the 2 at level 6, as well as also the Golden Wings, which we talked about, highly recommending investing in if you need to for the Bowser's Castle T. So there you go. I'm running out of steam. What are your thoughts, Antilev, on these multiple use ranked items? Any of these coming in clutch for you?
Maybe Meowser, but not too much. I think the main thing that is interesting to note, the Catalina set, Cat Rosalina, Grey Cat Cruiser, and the Black Cat Parafoil. Obviously the Black Cat Parafoil, it's in ranked 4 times, so one of those is this week, which, unless you're extremely lucky, you won't be able to use it for. But the other, the 3 for Grey Cat Cruiser and the 3 for Catalina, they're all in second week ranked. Sometimes Nintendo does this weird thing where they take a week 2 pipe item and they put it in week 1 ranked, which is like super annoying. They didn't do that this time. So if you somehow get her whole set, you're covered. You'd have to get it to level 6 too, but you'd be covered for the whole second week ranked. Just those 3 items.
Wow. That's good to know. Very cool. All right, guys, so there you go. That's all we have for the rundown. We just broke 2 hours. We've covered a lot of material. We've had some phenomenal discussions. Probably one of my favorite episodes so far, Antilev. Appreciate you joining and having those discussions with us. If you'd like to check out our memberships, feel free to do so. Definitely, if you haven't already, just please like. Just if you don't do anything, just like on your way out. I'd really appreciate it. For those of you who are curious about my All Cup ranking attempt, I put it out on my members only Discord, and also mentioned it to 2 or 3 people that were also going for top 10. But about 8 days in, I decided to not go for top 10. You probably saw, if you were friends with me in the game, you probably saw I completely stopped. I had 20, maybe 15 good tracks that I felt good about. We're talking about 95% or plus, but I really I didn't have enough time to be able to give it the full 2 weeks. And part of it had to do with, I thought I would have more time during the holidays, ended up being really busy with work, which is a good problem to have. And then I realized, just kind of doing the math, I was not going to get into the top 10, even if best case scenario, based on, there were 6 ER members that were going for top 10. And usually that's the most in ER history. Usually there's only 2 or 3. So 6 was a lot, and my thought process is I'll zig while everyone's zagging. Well, everyone was not zagging. Everyone was zigging, and I was trying to zig with them. And I woke up Christmas Eve with 2 stacks of presents needing to be wrapped. I had 5 loads of laundry that needed to be folded. Literally, the house was falling apart, and so I realized at this point in time it wasn't the right time, and it was fun though. I learned a lot. I'd say one of the biggest things I've learned during my attempt, and I think the first day I had 4 tracks, crushed, and then my tokens ran out. Then all of a sudden my frenzy luck went away. Anyway, one of the things is Lucky 7 is really, there's a lot of potential there. I was having good conversations with Anke, and she highly recommended getting a single Lucky 7 and then using an item ticket right there after getting the single Lucky 7. So Antilev and I have been talking about doing maybe a video on how to use Lucky 7, and I won't probably bring in a guest for that because I'm still a newbie. I thought I knew, but I got Calamari Desert. I got Lucky 7 coin with Lakitu Party Time. Was still 40 actions short of what the sheet said. I was like, I'm doing this all wrong. They're like, yeah, you should be getting a Lucky 7 coin. You should be getting double Lucky 7, maybe a couple single Lucky 7s, and that'll get you there even over Lucky 7 coin. I was mind blown. So highly recommend taking a look at Lucky 7 and exploring some things. If you think the sheet's wrong and you're using Lucky 7, you might be using Lucky 7 incorrectly, or not maximizing it. So we'd love to give you some more advice there, but a lot going on this tour. That gives you some insight as to my experience with All Cup ranking. If you're going for All Cup ranking, hopefully you can use some of these resources. But phenomenal job, Antilev. I really appreciate your insights there. If you have not pulled for Meowser yet, I'd say 95% of the community should pull immediately, or wait till next week if you're waiting for a certain pack or something. But don't leave this tour without getting him. I would say unless you started 2 weeks ago, that gold pipe is going to be your thing. Otherwise, Meowser's it, man. If you don't leave the tour without getting him, I think you might be regretting it. He might come back in the late spring, but it's a lot of tours between now and then. So go ahead and get him. Well, there you go, guys. Until next time, may the frenzy luck be with you, and we'll see you in the award ceremony. Happy holidays and Happy New Year!